Right. Well, welcome everybody. My name's Alan. We've got 20 minutes of Outlook training. What's new? So, just the differences between the version you're currently using, 2007 of Outlook, and the version that you will be using very shortly, 2016. So, I've got an outline up on the screen there. We can go by, looking at the changes in the ribbon. If you're not sure what the ribbon is, it's that wide bar that runs horizontally along the top of your screen. We've got different navigations available, to-do bar, instant search. Search is very intuitive now. Having a look at the icons, replying, notification window, attaching files, reminders about that, automatic replies, instant out of office. So these facilities, you're probably wondering, well, what are they? But they are new. So looking at running filters in your inbox, there's a cluttered folder, groups, quick steps to allow you to consolidate multiple items into a single click, a button. Conversation view, signatures not changed, but we've added that there so to show you where that is in case you want to get to your signatures. We've got the folder tabs, looking at the cards, people card, and there's a pane for that as well. Some enhanced views, meeting recommendations when you're organising meetings, categories, a lot different from what they are now. Everybody use categories, you do you? Yeah, so you'll be very familiar with those with the new version. Having a look at the calendar and view tasks in your calendar as well. Overlaying your calendars. So let's just have a look at what you've got available as far as resources after the session. I will, just in read mode with Word, I will close that for now. That one doesn't require being open. So if I go into my browser and I will go to my favorites, where I have the link, which you will get if you haven't already, to the Microsoft Office Training Center, and a little bit of information with links there. And you can see the apps also known as programs for Outlook right there. Clicking on that, and you can see you've got the different areas of help categorized under the headings. And if I just select the very first one, getting started, it will be a video and an introduction for this particular program, Outlook. So that is loading. It may take a moment to load, but I will turn that one off and we'll get started. So you'll have that link. Let me close that page. And you'll also have some reference material, PDFs. I'll open the Outlook one. Once again, what's new? 2016, and this is the PDF guide, so just a quick reference guide for you there. So there's lots of resources available as far as finding help with the changes through the versions. Okay, 2016 being the current one, also part of the suite Office 365, is which one I'm running, but it's using 2016. Okay, let's go straight in and open Outlook. So that's what it looks like. You've got your folder list on the left, your email in the middle, and if you like using the reading pane here, you will have that also. That can be turned on and off in the usual way. To the right of the view ribbon, I can turn that off or have that displayed at the bottom, or the way I like it, to the right. And I will just go up to the top message there. You can see it's asked me to download the pictures if I trust the sender, which I do, Cisco, and that's all good there. Okay, so just taking a look at the folder list on the left, you will notice that I can collapse this away, just give me a bigger real estate, and then I've got my folders at the bottom left where I can get to my calendar, contacts, which are, by the way, now known as people. But I can just expose the folder list, clicking that button, and I may want to just open a folder, so I'm going into sent items there, takes me to that, and collapses the folder list away. I'll pin that open again, same button top, expand, there's the paper pin, and we'll peg that right to the top. Okay, just having a look at Backstage, File tab, top left, so that used to be the Office button, and we can see we've got info. I've got 2 accounts. You can have multiple accounts within Outlook, and rather than going into a different program for your personal mail, you can bring it all into the Outlook folder list, and I've got my personal business one up there available, which you can add through Add Account if you wanted to add your personal account into Outlook. Just having a look at the Auto Replies, also known as Out of Office. So I will select that, and you've got the option, if I just turn on Send Automatic Replies, to have a reply for people within the organization, inside my organization, and a separate one if you choose for those outside. And you've got the option to say everyone outside the organization gets this reply, or only the people within my contacts folder. You may not want to send replies at any time, day or night. Keep it within business hours. And you've now got the option to detail the timings that you want your replies to be on or off. So if you turn it on, set the hours, whatever the hours are that you've set for your replies, they will obviously reply. Outside of that, they'll stop. And let me close Auto Replies. So while we're talking about that, if I did compose a new message back into my home ribbon, new email button, into the compose new message window, and I was emailing somebody that had their auto replies on, someone inside the organization, if I go into a screen dump, which I saved earlier of what you would see, I'm working standalone here, and open up automatic reply, and you can see here this is typing an email to Charlie Smith, who does have his automatic reply turned on, and it's telling me that. So before I go off and send a message to him, I know he's not actually at his desk today. And I won't receive that message telling me that because I've elected not to send the message. So once again, just cutting down on mail that's coming into your inbox and giving you a little bit of foresight what's going on there. I'll close that screenshot back into Outlook. I'll close the compose new message window. Oh, what's happened here? Stop responding. Sorry about that. I better restart. Okay, we're back again. Right, back into Backstage, File, top left, open and export. You can open another user's calendar if they've given you that permission, or if you have permission to do that. It could be set at administrator level. Data files, I mean, everything's saved up on the server, your emails, your contacts. So when you're seamlessly going to your new device, laptop as an example, or desktop, then you will see the same information. You will have the mail, you will have your appointments, etc. there. So I'm not needing to import, export, but that's what that's all about. Save as, I can save a message if I choose as a file. That's fine, I could always do that. So let's have a look at save attachments. So I can save all my attachments from a particular sender rather than saving one at a time. I can right click to get to that as well. If I clicked OK, it'll ask me where I want to save those, and that's exactly what it will do, and I can get those files from that location. Print. So you get your print preview to the right. You can print in the memo style or table style. You can select your printer from here. All the settings are from within the one window, so we can actually get what we want, print that out in the one location. Office account details, so this is just my account details here. The programs I have available in Office. The updates will come down automatically. About Outlook, anybody asks what version are you using, you can come into this and it will tell you the version of the program. 2016. I've connected my Office suite up with my social media, Facebook, etc. So if I wanted to pull pictures, for example, from Facebook into a Word document or a new message, etc., I can actually bring those in seamlessly. So it links everything together. All my contacts in LinkedIn have automatically come into a separate LinkedIn folder within Outlook. So I've got those contacts in there as well. So it just brings those through. It will ask you, do you want to do that? If you don't, you can say no. So you do have a choice. I can add more services down here as well. The options is your typical legacy options window. You get that through the apps, Excel, Word, etc. All the familiar tools there. And then we can feedback, we can get support. We do have exit with Outlook, something we don't have anymore with Excel, Word, etc. It has been removed. So I'll use the back button there to go back into my inbox. Okay, I'm just taking a look at the lower left corner of the screen. I've got my folders where I can get into those folders by clicking those buttons, but I just wanted to take a look at the navigation options. When you open Outlook for the first time, you may see a slightly different view. I've changed mine to a compact view by clicking the ellipse button, selecting navigation options. And you'll notice at the top there's a checkbox, compact navigation. And this is the checkbox I did tick. I'll remove that and click OK. So you may be looking at that. So it's very easy to change that. You may like that view. I'll go back into the navigations. You can control how many items you view down there. If I wanted to bring my notes on, clicking notes, I'm in my notes, but I can't see that folder in my navigation area. So I will go back into the ellipse, navigation options, and I can change that 4 to 5. And you can see I can also move the order of these. Maybe I wanted to move notes before task. Clicking notes, move up button, and I'll click OK. And you can see I can control that area to get in the folders I want to quickly. I'm going to change back to compact mode and just the 4 folders. Finally, ellipse, navigation options, 4 on that one. I'll tick compact mode. You can also see you can reset back to the factory settings. I'll click OK, the default settings. Okay, so yeah, you will notice that when I do change the size of this panel, that it will just turn that back into that vertical view, or you may lose some of those folders. So keep that in mind, and you can increase, decrease that. You can see I've actually got my notes there now instead of my tasks. I would prefer my tasks. So I'm going to just go back and change the order, click notes, move it down, and all well and good. Okay, back into the inbox from notes. And let's take a look at the actual message area. So messages coming in, I have got all at the top. If I did mark some of these as unread, because I have read them, you can see I can point to a message, a little vertical blue bar to the left. I point to that, it expands, I can click it, I've marked that message as unread. So if I wanted to quickly get all my unread messages, I may have been out of the office for a few days, I can just click unread and it just exposes all of those. I'll go back to all. So we're looking at the messages dropped into chronological groups, today, yesterday, etc. You can collapse and expand these individual groups in that way. Or if I wanted to collapse all of them and view all the dates I have available in my groups, I can right-click any one of those group headings and select Collapse All Groups. And then I can get to a particular date period, selecting that one, and that will expose all the messages within that group. I'll right-click any one of those messages. That will allow me to ungroup. I'd just like to point out before I do that, if I go into a different view, I'm in the Date view. Quickest way to do that is your View tab. In the View ribbon, you can see you've got your Arrangement buttons. I'll click From, allowing me to see who the messages are from. So you'll notice they're no longer grouped. If I did go back to Date, they're grouped. So it just holds it for the particular arrangement you're in. I'll ungroup the date grouping by right-clicking one of the group headings and selecting at the top, Expand All Groups. Let's just take a look at that From group again. I'm going to collapse the headings. And you can see, whoops, it's just me there at the moment because I'm in my Sent Items. I should know better. Let me just expand those and get back to my inbox, and then we'll have a look at going into the View ribbon, clicking From, trying to find a message from somebody, right-clicking a heading with their name, any one of those. I can collapse all of those, and there we are, all listed alphabetically. I could turn that around, just change it from A to Z to Z to A, and I'll turn the whole inbox on its head. I'll just change that back to A to Z. And you can see I can expose the messages inside each one of those groups in that way. I'll ungroup all of those, right-clicking a heading, expand all groups. And I'll go back to Date. So it's left me with the message I selected while I was working with the groups further down the inbox there. The quickest way to get back to your newest, your latest message is just by using the Home key. If you want to get down to the bottom of your inbox, it's the N key. So nice quick keys to get to the very top, very bottom of your inbox messages. So back to the top there, and let's take a look at your reply buttons. You can see they've brought these into the top of the message area, reply to all, forward, even texting, IM. So you've got your text messages available, and you can text within Outlook. We have got the Skype for Business program available, which is part of the Office subscription, and that is including your IM messaging, instant messaging within that. So a little notice comes up on your recipient screen saying you're dropping them a line. So it's that instant chat that you get with a computer. Now, let's just take a look at going back to the Home ribbon. I'll click that tab, and you can see you've got Reply and Reply All, etc. there. Now, if I actually wanted to open Outlook on another device, or I was using the touch on my screen, which you will have, those that are expecting a laptop, they will be touch screen. So it's something you might find useful because the buttons are quite close together. They're not particularly finger friendly. So the quick access toolbar at the very top left of your screen has a drop down to the right of that. It's called Customize Quick Access Toolbar. You've had that in 2007. But you haven't had is the ability to change the mode from mouse to touch. I've turned mine on already. You can see that's ticked. But if you turn it on in Outlook, it turns it on through the apps, Excel, Word, etc. Turn one of them off and it turns all of them off. So I'll click that touch mouse mode in my quick access toolbar, change it from mouse to touch, and you can see all the buttons become spread out a little bit bigger, more gaps around those, and also it's moved my reply, forward, delete, etc. buttons to the right, because you're probably going to be holding your tablet like this, and it put those buttons underneath your thumb, as if I was, and I can see I can quickly move through my messages in that way. I've got reply there, and it's just
more user-friendly in that way. Okay, I will just have a look at coming out of that one. Let's change it back to mouse mode, clicking that drop down back into mouse, and you can see up here, which was in the buttons to the right, so I'll come out of this message. I did click reply. I have pop out, I have discard. So you can see currently this message is in drafts. So when you are replying to a message, I'll just type something in, and this is, who I've got here, Nick. So I can still go elsewhere. I don't have to save this to make sure I don't lose it. I could have typed quite a bit of information in there. I need to go elsewhere to source information. I can go to another file, another message, or file for that case. You'll notice the message I'm replying to is in drafts. So you'll notice the blue number in the drafts folder. I can click the original message that has drafts in orange, telling me that I'm actually writing, I'm composing that, and then I can continue. Or I might close Outlook, and then I can come into drafts. So you don't need to save these. You won't lose them because they'll be stored in drafts automatically when you're replying to messages. So I can reply to that, and then I can send that off. But I'd like to point out that I have got discard and pop out. So I may want to pop this message out in its own window, pop out there. So it's a separate window now from my inbox, and I can go ahead and do whatever it is I wanted to. Let me just close that window, and you can see, whoops, I clicked it again, didn't mean to do that. I'm still in drafts. Let me go back into the inbox and discard. So maybe you don't want to reply to this person. You click discard, and then that removes the reply. You're back into the original message. The message is no longer in the drafts folder. Okay, let's just have a look at right-clicking a message and the options available. I want to pull up the messages in this conversation. I can point to find related, and I've got messages in this conversation, and there they all are. So quite a long conversation, this one. I will be in my search ribbon with all the search tools I have. We'll come back to that. I'm going to come out of this conversation by clicking close search. I'll once again right click that message. Also within find related, you just might want to find the messages from that sender. Messages from sender, and there we go. Notice it uses yellow to highlight their name. Also within the body, yellow with the name there. Could be in the text area. The signature, it didn't actually highlight Nick Ferro on his signature down here, so I'll take that back. I do apologize, but you will see in the body as well, highlighting that. So this is just right clicking. The clear close search button is also available in this search box. Close search, and it's searching the whole mailbox, by the way, the inbox and all the subfolders within. So what we'll do, let's have a look at clicking in the search box, and it's listed the recent searches. You can see the two I just ran. I've got Pharaoh there. I will use the same person. I could type that in, but you can see now it's including his signature, etc. Let me just type somebody else, Helen, in my search box, and you can see it's highlighting that name throughout, even in the body, even in attachments as well. It will pick that up. You might not see it in the message. Nothing's highlighted, probably in the attachment. Now I can build on that. So I can see to the right it's searching the current mailbox. Maybe I want to search all mailboxes. I've got two in Outlook, personal, business, and I can change that to all mailboxes, and it's searching everywhere, all my accounts. Up here are the same buttons, and I can change it back to current mailbox there, or within the same list, current folder. So yes, I am looking in the current folder. Let me just close that search. Maybe I wanted to find an item that I'd sent. If I click my Sent Items folder, and then I will type the same name, Helen. Notice now it's not searching the current mailbox, it's the current folder. So if you go into a subfolder and perform a search, Outlook is saying, well, you probably come into this folder because there's an item in this folder you want to look for. So it's automatically changed the search pattern to the current folder that you clicked, and that's what it's doing there. It doesn't mean that you can't search your whole mailbox or subfolders within. You've got the option to include subfolders, and it's very flexible where you're searching. But keep an eye on that. You're thinking, oh, it should be there. It may be the area you're searching in isn't quite right. Now, I will go back to my inbox, and we'll perform a slightly more advanced search. So I will say Helen, and has attachments. Clicking on that, you can see it's adding the text has attachments, yes, and all of these have attachments. So it may have a subject. So the subject may be level 3. I will click the subject, not case sensitive, I will type level 3, and you can see I'm narrowing this down, and you can just whittle it away up here. I'm in the search ribbon. I've got dates. When was it? When did you receive it? So I've got all the different date periods right through to last year on this one. So I will say last month on that one, nothing there. So I didn't get it last month. If I go into last year, and there it is. So I've whittled it down to 1. You can denote that it was marked as important. There's more options available for you, who was CC'd in, etc. So everything you'd need for a search. But you can see it's an instant search, and I never pressed enter once. Just typing it in, and it flows the search through, highlights everything that I'm looking for there in yellow. It's very clear what I'm trying to find and where it is. I'll close search. And back into the inbox. And let's take a look at the folders down at the lower left again, pointing to my calendar. I get a peak. So these are known as peaks. You will see peaks popping up. So I'm looking at my appointments. They brought a lot of the features into the inbox where you would have to normally go into the calendar to open appointments and view them. You can actually get to a lot of different areas from within. So I can see my appointments for today, and well, this is Thursday as well, so it's showing me next week. I can click a date and it will show me the appointments in that range of dates. So it's not just a day, it's those around that period. And I can just simply go into those, I can double click them, and I can open the appointment right from within my inbox, and I will close that one away, and I am still in my inbox. You'll notice that they call it people now, also known as contacts. I've been using that term when we're looking at the out-of-office assistant auto replies. But you can add people into this. So I've got a list of my favorites there. If I go to try and find somebody, I will type in there Farrow, and I can see Nicholas Farrow there. To add him to my peak, I'll right-click, add to favorites. You can see lots of pop-ups coming up all the time. I'll come back to that, but you can see I've added Nicholas Farrow there. There's the pop-up, and so next time I come into peaks, there he'll be. So if I point to him there, you can see I've got the ability to text him. So this is using Skype for Business. Call him. I can run a video link with him, or I can email him. So I'll go with email. I don't want to disturb Nick for now, and I've got his address here in there, but it's all very seamless. It's well linked up with Skype for Business if you do ever use that program. then you'll find the integration within the Office suite is very good. I know you're looking at my latest message there from WebEx. I do have 2 accounts, one with WebEx as well for the training I need to give on that particular program, but Skype for Business is the forerunner in this day and age. So let me have a look at going back into my peaks again. You can see for the tasks, I've got my flagged items. I can remove the flag right from here if I choose to do that, and that's no longer in my task list. It's not something I need to get back to urgently. And I can type for a new task, enter a new task there. It will go into my task folder, so I can actually create tasks within my inbox. Let me have a look at docking the peaks. So I can dock the peaks if I want to keep those open in my inbox. This is this button at the top right corner, dock the peak. And you can see I've added it, and it will remain in my inbox. If I went to my calendar, it won't be there. It'll just be in where I docked it. Let's dock the people peak. Dock the peak, and that you can add your tasks and everything and get to those very quickly, once again, from the inbox. These are double clicking just to load these appointments, and I can navigate through to future appointments as well. And once again, get to these people. You can see all the tools available there for instant contact with those. You can see that yellow bar there. The yellow bar, he's actually, he's signed into Skype for Business, and you can see mine is red because I'm busy. But this is where those colors, you will see those colors next to people's names, and that's coming from this. So yellow there, there's 3 things: be right back, off work, appear away, and you can just control that yourself as well. It's assigned me as busy automatically, so I can change that to available or any of the others from within Skype for Business. I signed into that just to have that running in the background. Okay, let's have a look at removing those. If I click that close button at the top right of that peak and this people peak as well, I do have within the view ribbon the option to turn on the to-do bar. That was always there, and it is your peaks, but it's just turning them on to the right of your inbox. So those are still there, and they work the same way. I'll go back to the home ribbon. Okay, now I'm sure you've all got subfolders, probably lots of them. Otherwise our inbox will become unmanageable. So I will create a subfolder. They are created in exactly the same way. If I just right-click my inbox, I will create a subfolder within by clicking New Folder, and I will call it Training. And as you'd expect, when you create new folders, they drop in line of an alphabetical order. So you don't need to go with the order you get, because you can just click a folder and drag it and drop it where you want it. So I'd like my training folder to be at the top. I've dragged it, I've dropped it up there. So you can simply just move your folders in the order that suits you, the folders you get to the most. If I create another folder within my inbox, whoops, click the right one, and this one I will call it Outlook. Enter that. So I can drag and drop that inside another folder. So I'd like that Outlook folder inside my training folder. If I just point to training, let it go, you can see you get that decent tooltip which folder you're moving. I know you probably experienced removing the wrong folder. It's easy to do. Now it's telling me I have got the Outlook folder with that tooltip. Are you sure you'd like to drop it in there? Yes, I am. And now I've created a hierarchy of the 2 folders in that way. I'll just right-click the training folder and remove the 2. Of course, when you delete a folder, all the items within will also be deleted. And in this case, my Outlook folder as well. You've got an archive folder. You've got an archive button. So you can archive your items straight into that folder. I can pick them off individually. I can use the control key to select multiple items, and I can archive them in. So if I did archive them, those ones into that folder, I may just remove that one, select that one, clicking archive, and they've been archived. Not into that folder, have they? So they've archived into this folder. Sorry about that. Let me collapse this list. I've got two lists of folders there, a little bit. I've got two archives, but that's the one there. So they've been archived. That's the main root of folders there, the main structure. You're sent items, drafts, etc. Now, so we don't really need to know where they archive to, but we've got them out of the area, your inbox. So if you are, and I doubt whether you'll experience a shortage of capacity now, no more looking for files with large attachments, saving those attachments off the message because you need to get some more room in the inbox. You've got a greater capacity there. But you can archive items away just for the sake of cleaning up your inbox a little bit. But those items are going to be right there. If you're wondering, well, where are they? Well, you can always right-click the archive folder, go into Properties, and then within the Auto Archive page, you can see where they're being archived to there. But we can get them straight from the folder anyway, so there's no harm in that. I would like those back into my inbox. I'm just going to select all of those and drag and drop them back in the inbox in that way. Okay, so I think what we'll do is take a look at what happens if we compose a message with an supposedly with attachment, but without. So I'm going to click on the new email button, and I'm going to just start composing. Actually, I'll use one of my email addresses. I don't want to unintentionally, which I have done before, send messages to clients that I'm using for training purposes, which required quick phone calls directly after the course. But yeah, one of my own accounts would be better. And I will type a subject. So a subject, it could be anything. I'll just type in there festival. So I will put hi Alan, because it is me, but of course it would be somebody else. And please find included your training documents. Right, so I thought I had attached those documents. I hit send. Oh, it's gone. I'm so sorry. That's one of the examples. It's not fail safe. As I just found out. I will get that working, don't worry. But what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to, that's unusual. That should have worked. That's caught me out, that one. I'm going to put as a subject festival again. I'm going to rephrase that slightly because I do want you to see what I'm trying to achieve. Please find, I think through this I use the word included. Please find included. And if I used the word, which I normally use, attached, it would have been a different matter. But please find attached I'll use files, training documents, be fine, files. And I click send, and there's a better response. So attachment reminder, you may have forgotten to attach a file. So you can turn that feature off. I think you don't show this message again. Or you can send it anyway. Or to save yourself an embarrassment, click don't send. And then you can go in and attach your files as normal. Now, the attachments. If I click attach, it's not just going to load the insert file window, it's going to load a list of all the files I've been working on recently. So quite often I've looked at a file or worked on it, I need to send it off. It's in the list. So this was the auto reply illustration I showed you for the to let you know that somebody's auto reply is turned on. So what I will do, I will attach that, and it's in there, all well and good. Now, I'd like to point out that I am using a cloud as my storage, and you will see some of these files have the icon of a cloud, and that's why they're up on my cloud. So it's the Microsoft OneDrive. But if I attach that one, I've actually given the recipient a direct link to that file. So if they change it, they'll change the file up on my cloud. So just to make you aware of that, that's the icon of the cloud. And you will get browse the web location. Once again, if I actually get my attachments from there, I give them a direct link to the file. They change it, it's going to change on my directory. Something you probably don't want to do. So to save that from happening, at the bottom of the attachments, if you can't find the file you wanted in the list, you use Browse this PC. And this does take you into your typical insert file window. You can navigate your directories, whether it's your M, G drive, etc., or on your documents, and get the files you want. Yeah, if you're not sure, where's documents gone? It's in this PC. I'm using Windows 10, by the way. You may be using the Windows 7 operating system, but yeah, this is also playing a part of the look and feel of these windows. But there's documents right there, desktop, etc. This PC. I'll close that. And we'll move away from attachments. Okay, what we'll do, we'll have a look at moving across to the calendar. Not a lot you can do with the calendar, really. A day is a day, an appointment is an appointment. It might be a slightly different look to that. You can see, you can get your day view, work week, month, all the same. You do have your schedule view, so you can actually bring other people's calendars, or if you've got more than one calendar, and view them horizontally across the screen. I've also got a birthday calendar there, so if I bring that one in schedule view, you can see it stacks them up this way. It gives me a bigger real estate. I can actually scroll back and forth and view those appointments in that way. Line them up. I'll have a look at turning off the schedule view. It's going to take me straight into side by side, which is month. And I've got the option to have 2 calendars or more than 2. Once you get to 7, by the way, it automatically, you may have seen this, flips to schedule view. That can be changed in your Outlook settings, by the way, but that's how it's set up by default. But you might like to overlay the calendars to see the appointments stacked up on top of each other. And I've got the little left-facing arrow button there, and I can overlay birthdays on my calendar. Won't hide any appointments. It will make them a bit smaller, and you can see through all of the calendars, all of the appointments, and then line them up that way. I will change that back into the normal side-by-side, clicking that same arrow, but now right-facing, and I will close this birthday's calendar. You'll notice they've added the weather forecast. You can have up to 5, so if you're going away for a few days, you may want to know what the forecast is in that location. St. Albans, I've got currently here. If I click the drop-down for my locations, I've used up all. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, the maximum amount there. So if you don't see add location, you might need to remove one. So if I remove Paris there, and then I've just got the remaining there. To add your own location, add location. So I'll just type in there Milan, and if I press enter, you've got the search button as well. It wants to know which one. And it's Italy I was thinking of. So clicking on that, I've added Milano to my calendar list, and I can see what the forecast is there if I am going away. And when you point to these, you get the decent pop-ups giving you more information, wind, etc. Let's move away from that. You can navigate your dates with the left and right arrow buttons there. You can share your calendars here, share calendar with your colleagues. So that's emailing it off. Now, what you're doing, you're actually giving them a copy. So here you can see details, availability only. Maybe I want to actually give them a few more details. You've got limited details, you've got full details. So you are actually emailing this person that link, and then they will be able to open that, allowing the recipient to view your calendar. I'll close that send dialog. And you have got that, if I may, for a moment, just pop that back to my inbox, compose a new message, new email, and then insert ribbon for my compose new message window. You will see right there, calendar. So you can actually attach it while you're composing the message also. So it's just asking is which calendar, and you've got the date range as well. So I can detail the range. I may not want to give that person the full calendar. I can limit that there. And the availability, whether it's limited or full details. So you get a couple of more options if you actually attach it this way. I will click OK, and you will see it's generating those dates into my compose new message window, and they can go through. It's the link there that I've added, the 1 day there and a single day. If you've added more, you'll see those links. I will close this compose new message window and get back to the calendar. And there you go, you've got your new appointment button there, clicking on that. Not a lot of change here. You will notice you've got Skype for Business running through here. If I was wanting to arrange a meeting with that, as opposed to just arranging or putting an appointment within my calendar, if you wanted to invite people to a meeting, you still have got the option to do that. You can see invite attendees. Let's have a look at Skype meeting, and you can see it's set it up with a link to the meeting. So I put to, subject, location's gone in already, Skype meeting, setting up the time of that meeting. So the recipients just click that link and they're in the meeting. It's seamless. You'll also notice to the right you've got a room finder. So that's all integrated within your calendar. If you're setting up an appointment with colleagues, yes, you need to know whether they're available or not. You do have your, I'll come out of the this one, I'll go into the scheduling assistant, so you can bring colleagues in here, see if they're available, and also seeing if the rooms are available. So if as you're bringing these people in, it'll show you the best options as far as getting a room. So that's all integrated in, and it knows, because the email addresses, which rooms would be best suited and their availability. So it brings those together. I'll just come out of my calendar. We are running out of time now. I did want to take you to the, close that window. I did want to take you to the contacts, which is now known as people. So we've got these cards, the people cards, and you can see that it gives you the details. Not a lot of details for that one, bit more there, scheduling a meeting, emailing, phoning, all the information here. You've got all of the Skyping tools there, but you may like the typical view. I've got right within the home ribbon there, my views, and I can get back to the cards which we're used to, or the list of names and phone numbers. You quickly get that information you want, but that's the default now, people. You can link the cards together as well. So I do believe I've got Mohammed. I've got he works for the English Cricket Board. So I'm going to link the two together. I don't need two cards for him. I can link contacts. So it's found the contact and the Skype for Business details, not that card. So I'm going to search for it. And there we are. There's Muhammad Ali, ECB. Clicking on that, I want to merge it. There are details in that card that aren't in this one I'm looking at. I just click OK, and it's going to merge those into this card. So I've got everything. You can bring everything into the one card, and that can be your main card. So you can go and delete the other ones because you've brought it all into the one card. So it's not difficult to have the same person in your contacts more than once. So that will just help you to manage that situation. And then we've got the task. If you do use your task, you can notice when you create a new task, it looks the same. So you'll pick up on this new version of task very easily. I'll close that. I'll go back into the inbox. And that's it. So if you're happy with that, I think we'll draw a line under it. We've run out of time. But you've got the resources available there. You've got the link to the Microsoft Office training page, and you've got your PDFs as well, what's new. And you've got the help right here also. Did I show you that? Tell me what? I don't believe I did I? I do apologise, but it is worth looking at. I do run 6 per day, and sometimes I just forget what I've done and haven't done. So if I click on tell me what you want to do, it will load the window where I can get to the window with links, drilling down to the information I want for step-by-step guides, but it will bring tools in now. So as an example, maybe I wanted to set up a Skype meeting. I'll just type Skype meeting in there, and you can see I've got get help on this. Now, I'm sure you're all familiar with that. It's got the links. It opens in a browser. You can get those very useful guides with diagrams, but it brings the actual tools in. So rather than telling you where to get them, it brings them into the help. So I click that, and you can see it set me up with the Skype meeting to location, times there. So and there's the button there. So help is very intuitive. Brings the tools in to help. You don't have to go and find them. Once again, thanks for attending. Have a good weekend, folks.